Hey guys, welcome back again. Ben here, and today we're going to be making a woodpecker feeder. So this is not too hard of a project, and it's something that you can probably make in about 10 hours or so in a 3D printer. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by dragging out a box here. So if you look on the left-hand side, we're going to drag out a box, and we're going to click the corner here, and this is going to allow us to change the dimensions of our box here. And the dimensions that we're going to go for in this one is going to be 40, 125, and 120 on that one. So we're going to click. We're going to type 40, and it's going to be 125. Then this middle one here is the z-axis, and that's going to allow us to type 120 in. And what this does is it's going to give us the body of our suet feeder. I want you to click on this box, and then you can either press Control-C and Control-V, or in the top left-hand corner, there is a button that says Copy, and then a button next to it says Paste. And what this does is it creates a clone of that image. The next thing we're going to do, though, is we need to make a cavity so that our suet can fit into it. So if we left-click the new object that we've made, we can left-click here in the corner, and we're going to change this one to 35, and our other one is going to be 120. We're not going to change our height because we want it to be cut all the way through in this. So the smaller one that we've created now, where we changed the size on it, left-click that, and then click Whole. Then I want you to highlight and drag to make a box with your left mouse button. And then on the top right-hand corner, there's a button called Alignment. So you can either press L on your keyboard or click this button that says Align. And we need to align it in two ways. We need to do the X and the Y axis. And then you're going to press the button that says Group or Control plus G. And what that does is it creates a cavity. And this is what our suet is going to sit in next. So good job. Take a moment to do that. And after you've completed that, I want you to drag in another box here. And the dimensions of this box are going to be 125 by 80 by 5. So we're going to click this and type in 125 by 80. And then our height is going to be 5. Drag this over, and what this is going to do is this is going to be kind of the base where the birds can sit on this or hold on to this. I want you to highlight this part here, highlight it all, and I want you to press the L or Align button. We're going to do an alignment here, in here, and what this does is it aligns it perfectly in the center. And then I want you to press the Group button after that. Perfect. Okay, the next part can be a little tricky, but it's not too hard. So watch it first, and then you might have to pause and repeat to see this part. But what we're going to do is we're going to drag in this cylinder that's right here. Now I'm going to zoom in so you can see this, but what we need to do is if you look here, there's two different arrows that look like they're back to back with a circle on top. Click that, and this is going to allow us to rotate. And we need to do a 90-degree rotate on this. Perfect. Now I want you to click on the new cylinder, and you see this little cone that's here. This is what allows us to raise it. We're going to go up to 10. Perfect. Now this is something that I sometimes do because the view that we're using right now is a three-dimensional view on it. And there's a button here called orthographic view, and then we can click this. And what it does is it's going to kind of warp our vision a little bit, but it will allow us to look at things flat in like a complete flat sense so that we can make sure that we're exactly what we're looking at. So if we click here to look at the front here, we can see an absolutely flat perspective of our woodpecker feeder. I'll show you the difference. So this right here is normal view, and this is orthographic view. And the nice thing about orthographics is it allows you to line things up more precisely because you're not looking at something three-dimensionally. So perfect. So what we're going to do next is we have this rotated here, but we need to drag it out more. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here on the side, and we're going to just extend this out. So I'm going to extend it out to 100 or so. Rotate just to make sure that you're piercing through. So we'll come over a little more. There we go. And these are going to be the holes that are actually going to be on our woodpecker feeder. So if we click here in the front again, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to do something called duplicate and repeat. So I want you to click on just the hole here that we're going to put in. There's a button here at the top that says duplicate and repeat, or you can press Control and D. Press it one time only. So 1. Now I'm going to click on this again one time. Now there's actually two holes right now. They're stacked on top of each other. So I've clicked on just the top hole by clicking on it, left clicking. And then I'm going to press right on my arrow key here, and I'm going to move it over just a tiny bit like that. Perfect. And I'm going to press this button again. Now if you press duplicate and repeat, it will repeat those holes for you, just like that. So here's kind of the awesome part. We can actually duplicate, instead of doing this for, the entire length of this block here, we can hold down Shift on our keyboard and left click each one of these, press the button that says duplicate and repeat. Now it looks like it did nothing, but just like the previous one, it's actually stacked on top of itself. So we can bring this entire row up with this arrow right here, the raise arrow. Perfect. And then we can press it 1, 2 more times. And what this does is, if we look at it again, we have all of these different holes that have been created now. So I'm going to click this button here that's going to take me back to the 3D view. And it's going to make it to where we can kind of see it a little bit easier and see what we're working with. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight everything, or you can press Control and A and then press Group, which is going to be in the right-hand corner here. Awesome. And what this does is this creates all of the holes that are in there. Okay, only a couple more steps. So these holes are actually where the birds will actually be able to stick their beaks in and to get the suet out. But we have to have a way to hang this. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw another cylinder. So drag the cylinder down here. And just like before, you're going to click that little arrow that allows you to rotate and type in 90 for 90 degrees. And we're going to change this one here. We're going to be 150 long on this. So 150. And our other dimensions are going to be 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters. And what this does is this is going to be a way that we can eventually hang this. So we're going to raise this up here to about there. I'm going to rotate it to kind of get some perspective to see where we're at. There we go. And that's good right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're perfectly aligned in the middle. So we're going to highlight everything we have here. Press L, or the alignment button. And I want you to click this button here. And what that does is it's going to align you perfectly in the middle of our woodpecker feeder. Then you're going to highlight everything and press the Group button. What this does is these allows us to have holes that are punched out, and this is where we can use something like twine or a metal wire to eventually loop through and then to hang our suet. Okay, this last step is completely optional, but it's kind of cool to put a nice little graphic or touch onto this. We're going to import something that I found in Google Images called an SVG file, which is basically like a silhouette. So you can search for, if you go to Google Images, you can search for something like Woodpecker SVG. And then if it's an SVG file, you can actually import those into TinkerCAD, which is cool. So let me show you what I mean by that. So if you click on Import up here, I'm going to hit Choose a File, and I'm going to import my Woodpecker SVG. On this one, it's a very large one. You can see it's 585 millimeters in dimension, which is way too big. That's way bigger than our entire feeder. So I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to guess 10% scale, but we'll see what it looks like when it comes in. And it's importing it now. And looks like it's hidden under here, so we're going to move this out. And look at that, there is our little woodpecker there. So what we're going to do is, this is a little too thick because we want this to be on the sides of here. So we're going to just take this down to like 3. Perfect. And we're going to rotate him here 90 degrees. And then we need him to be facing up, so we're going to rotate him again 90 degrees on this axis. Perfect. So let's drag him kind of into place and see if we can get him to work. So up we come. We'll look at it sideways. There we go. That looks pretty cool there, but we want it on both sides. So make sure that you're touching through. You can see before I wasn't touching through right here. You can see through it. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we're actually touching through. So there's that. Perfect. So we are touching. What we can do is we can press copy and then paste. Or if you wanted to, you could left click it and then you could press your duplicate button, which puts it right on top of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move him sideways like this so I can look at it. And I'm going to left click just the pileated woodpecker. This is going to move him across with the arrow key. We're going to see what we have here. Just make sure that he's touching through. Perfect. If you were really concerned that these were not lined up completely, you can highlight everything, including both woodpeckers on both sides and the middle part. Press the L or align button, and then we can do a center alignment. And what that will do is this will align both sides. You'll know that you're lined up perfectly on that. So you can go ahead and you can press Control A or highlight all, and then press Control G or group. And what this does is it's created a woodpecker feeder for you to now have 3D printed. If you're ready to 3D print this, you can press export and then press STL format, and it will then download the STL format for you. And then you can put this on a flash drive and bring it into the library to be 3D printed. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Lebanon Public Library Technology Center. We would be glad to assist you. Thank you.